From BK Forex. Welcome to our daily Forex technicals for 5/21/13. The story of the day today, I think, is dollar engulfed. I'll explain that in just a second. But as always, trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may be suitable for all investors. So I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully and understand all the risks associated with trading on margin and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. So the engulfing story, I think, is very evident technically on a lot of different pairs today, and that is kind of an interesting story because it suggests perhaps that we're bottoming out here in a dollar rally. Euro kind of engulfed Friday's candle. We kind of came up to the top. We petered out a little bit at the 2900, and we still remain right now at this juncture of 29 being pretty much the cap of this rally. We get rejected and get retested. It's back to the 2850s. If we push forward, then obviously the next target is 2950, and then the target after that is going to be the 3000, which is where we have a lot more resistance. So there's a possibility that we're sort of basing here. Certainly the evidence that we're basing in the dollar is becoming clearer. And of course we have the double bottom here against the 2750 that's helping support some of the upside action in the euro. Same thing on the reverse side in dollar yen, where you basically have this is Friday's candle, and this is today's candle. Obviously, not as engulfing as Friday's candle, but the point being is that we have pretty much of a strong reversal candle. We kind of gapped down a little bit and ended closer to the lows. If we break out the highs of today's candle, which is around basically 103, then the probability that we resume the uptrend on the dollar is pretty strong. If we can't come anywhere near the 103s, and as a matter of fact, if we start breaking down to below 101.90, then the turn in the dollar yen seems very real to me and very much a potential. The engulfing is also pretty evident, I think, in the COM dollars. This is really where you saw a lot of it today. Here's the Aussie dollar, kind of, again, I'm using the term loosely, and those of you who are technical purists are going to yell at me. But the point being is we have pretty much erased most of the downside action on Friday with the upside action of today. And that is a technical picture we're seeing all across the spectrum here. The COM dollars where it's the strongest. But again, we're running up against very critical levels, against the round number levels. In the euro, it's 2900. In Aussie, it's around the 98s. Back to the downside would be 97s to break in the Aussie. In the Kiwi, it's against the 82s. So you do have a situation where you have a move to the upside, but a very hesitant one, and certainly one that's going to fight some of the resistance that you've had because of all the downside action we've had over the last few days. And lastly, in cable, also similar type of situation. We came back up almost to the 53s, didn't quite recover the 53s. Need to recover actually and break through the 53s to sort of form a stronger base here and a stronger evidence of a turn. Back down to the lows at 51.50s. So I think overall the signature today, the picture out of technical today, is that we have stemmed the tide of selling. We've definitely stopped for the time being. I think the current lows made on Friday are probably going to be very sticky. And we're not going to penetrate those by much, at least for the next day or two. The upside also remains much more challenging, but the upside has a smaller bias, at least a bigger bias, towards the upside than it is to the downside for the time being, just because the price action seems to have finally turned. Be watching all of those pairs very, very carefully. And of course, for the euro, it's the 29s, but for the yen, is really going to be the critical trade today. We have some Amari comments. We'll have some data later today. And we have to see if this indeed is the turn in dollar yen back down to the 101s, 101.50s as we proceed. Wishing you guys the best of luck and the best of trading. This is Boris Schlossberg for BK Forex. Over and out.